Storing documents in a file server. In this video you will learn how to configure a Bisagi project to store files in a specific folder of a particular file server. Additionally, you will gain technical knowledge of file storage in Bisagi. For the purpose of illustration, we will use the following example. A bank has a product request process to approve or deny a set of products requested by a client. This process starts with the registration of the client's information that includes a photocopy of the application request form. The form must be saved in a specific folder on the principal file server of the bank. We have to perform the following three steps to allow the upload of files to a process. Firstly, create a file attribute in the data model. Secondly, add the file attribute to a form. Thirdly, specify the storage server. Documents and files uploaded to Bisagi processes using the file type are, by default, stored on the Bisagi server. However, you can specify another file storage location. It is possible to retrieve the full path of an uploaded file using an expression in order to manipulate the file and its contents. Now let us start with the first step in our tutorial. In the Process Wizard view, select the second step called Model Data. Locate the product request entity. Right-click on it and choose the option to edit the attribute list. Add a new attribute. Set the name to Form Application and the type as File. The Properties dialog box appears once the attribute is selected. By default, the folder property is set to Bisagi. This means the uploaded files are going to be managed by Bisagi, not by an ECM. If the BPM solution is integrated with an ECM, here you have the option to select the defined ECM folder and set the content data types of the uploaded files. In this case, we will retain the default, as files will be stored in Bisagi. Click on Finish to save changes made to the attribute. Save the data model by clicking the Save icon in the upper left corner. The next step is to include this attribute in a form of the process. In the Process Wizard view, select the third step called Forms. In the process diagram, select the Client Information activity, as this is where we have to add the Form Application attribute as a field in a form. The modeler form is shown. Locate the process under the App classification. Drag and drop the Application Form attribute into the form. Save and close the form. Remember, the bank wants to save the files in a specific folder on their principal file server. For this reason, we have to define the file path. On the Bisagi main menu, select the Configuration tab and open the Environment option. Select the Advanced option on the left of the Bisagi Environment Options window. The Upload Path property contains a variable that is set to the path of the physical directory. The default value is the root defined at the time of installation, as shown here on the screen, so the files will be stored in the same web server. We are required to override the default and specify another file server. Enter the full path of the storage folder. At this point, we have set the capability of uploading and storing the files. If we perform a test whereby a document is attached during the registration activity, the document will be stored in the path specified. Shown here is an example of a file stored in a file server. Notice that for each file uploaded, Bisagi automatically creates a storage folder structure. The first folder is the entity ID to which the attribute belongs. The second subfolder level down is a value calculated using the case ID surrogate key. The third level down is the case ID, and the fourth level down contains the ID of the file attribute to which the form field is related. Bear in mind that you can retrieve the full file path using an expression to manipulate the file and its contents. Each segment of the path can be obtained from the process. It is important that the user running the web application process in the operational system has read and write permissions for the storage folder. This tutorial shows how to store files uploaded to a web application in a specific folder of a particular file server. Thank you for your interest in Bisagi.